Welcome back, everyone, to Beholder to No One presents Behold Clearlight. I am your Dungeon Master, Ryan Williams, and joining me here are Nikki,
Rissa Lanner,
Greg,
Grigtho's steady hand.
Ashley,
Emmy Frankincense.
and Keith.
Seuss.
All right, are we all ready?
hell yeah.
Yep.
Yup, let's do it.
Begin Kaitiaki's Eye data log number data corrupted. The past few cycles have been frustrating to me. I have been able to detect the presence of these new sentient creatures as well as the dangers they face with my sensors, but I have been unable to assist them. I was able to deactivate the security system in the war room before more sentry bots were deployed, allowing them to safely move past the armory to the living quarters. Unfortunately, they encountered a hostile plant creature that used the corpses of the former staff to assist in its attempts to consume them. I am unable to remember their names. Much of my data is missing. I should ask if any of these sentient creatures know what happened to cause the corruption of this world. Perhaps I can be of assistance. N. Kaitiaki's Eye data log number data corrupted. Memory full. Deleting older data to make room for recent logs. Last time, you encountered this strange new being, creature. You're not quite sure what to call it, but it called itself Kaitiaki's Eye, or just Kai for short. And it had asked you all what happened to the world, because it doesn't know. How do you respond?
Can I roll a history check to see if I can give it a good enough rundown about everything?
Yeah, sure. Sure. You can give like a history of Clearlight the city, for sure. And as a bard, you'd probably be pretty good at it. Telling a story, that is.
So is it performance or is it history?
That is, I think, up to you. But
Then performance it is, 19, as I give the beautiful display of everything that has occurred that I'm aware of.
right. So that is a lot of history to recount. So if you want to recount the entire history that you know of Clearlight, that you certainly can do that. But part of the way through your story, it might interrupt, and it would say, I appreciate the information, but I specifically was thinking more in terms of how the world came to be enshrouded in this strange mist.
Oh, I don't know that.
That's something we're trying to figure out right now.
That interpretive dance display you just put on was pretty heavy and awesome.
Thanks.
That was quite the story. I am sure that I would like to hear more of it later, but that is unfortunate if none of us know what happened to cause this strange circumstance.
Yeah, that's kind of why we're here, actually. Trying to figure all this out.
Well, while I do not know what happened to the world before this strange happening, I do think that I could be a great asset to your team if you were to take me along with you. I have been, bored here for quite some time and would very much like to leave here finally.
Does it seem like something we would be able to carry, or is it just part of the structure?
No, it's like a baseball floating above one of the consoles. It looks like a metal eyeball, sort of.
Oh, can I put it in my skull on my...
It's a little too big to fit in a human skull, but
That's what
I was
you
gonna be like,
think.
that'd be so cool.
We just need to make a hole in the forehead.
He'll make this work.
My skull will actually talk instead of just me pretending it talks.
That was pretend all this time?
What?
It'd be like Bob from the Dresden Files.
Yeah, it would. That's why I was like, oh, damn.
And you lost me.
it's fine. Everything's fine.
Is it though?
Guess I'll reach out my hand and just try to pick it up or something.
Right, and as you grab it, there's a little bit of resistance as you sort of pull it out of the place that it's floating, but it's sort of like a weak magnet. It comes out pretty easily. And then you are just holding this little eyeball orb. I appreciate you taking me along with you. I assure you, I can provide a great deal of information about the world around you, and am very good at analyzing situations, creatures, and assimilating new information from the world around me.
You mentioned something about Gregthos over here.
Yeah, you said I was a conduit, I believe?
A conduit, correct, yes. You, or people like you, rather, were the ones who allowed the Titan to interface with the divine energy that powered it from the other side of the divine gate. The influence of the gods can only come through humanoids, and therefore required special people to be able to assist the Titans in their purpose. You are a very special person, and the fact that you do not know this is concerning, because it indicates to me that the Titans are not performing their functions anymore.
No, but they will always be remembered. I'm special, you say?
This Titan is currently inside of a tree.
Ah, I see. It likely caused the vegetation and plant life in the area to grow at a greatly increased pace. That would make perfect sense. That was the original function of the Titans many, many years ago. I am sure I could provide to you a great deal of history about this world, because I do not know how long it has been. I am not entirely sure how large the gap is in my history log, but I have still quite some information about the past.
Do you happen to remember the last date you remember?
Data corrupted. Unfortunately, no. It appears that I have lost some dates, a significant number of them.
Yeah, you'll get more. There's plenty of other robotic fish out there.
The eyeball blushes.
Whoa. Okay. How does that? Wait, what does that look like? Please explain to me.
It doesn't.
It's like the
It
anime
absolutely
blush.
does not.
Oh,
It's
okay.
the little line.
Yeah, the little
Just-
lines. I got
Just
you.
little pink lines appear in the
Alright.
air
They're like
around
LED
it.
lights.
Rissa has one of those little sweat drops on her head here.
Oh, it's crying.
It seems to me that you do not have any information about the past of these Titans. I am happy to answer any questions, as I have not had anyone to share information with for a very long time.
Could we stay here for the night and talk about all these amazing things and then just discuss history for the next certain amount of hours here till sunset?
That is perfectly acceptable. This room is relatively safe. I have managed to keep most of the things outside, and have not allowed passage into this area. However, this will not last forever, especially since I have had to disable many of the security systems because they were malfunctioning.
I'm sorry, everybody heard him say outside twice, right?
He was keeping the things outside still. There is a comment.
Okay, good. I was worried.
Yes, this room is relatively safe, although it is not meant for comfort, as you can see. And you look around, like, the room is all metal everywhere. There are a few metal rusted chairs that look like they used to be able to swivel but have completely rusted still. There's very little plant life in here.
I look long and we have two chairs.
Of course you do.
Rissa sits in one of the chairs before Greg goes down.
Well, there are plenty of chairs for everyone. There are more chairs than you have butts.
That's what you
All
think,
welded
sir.
to the floor, right?
Yes,
Oh.
they're all welded to the
Fantastic.
floor.
I was gonna say I was gonna put all the chairs together and make.
Oh, fancy.
The living quarters are downstairs, and I believe you must have passed through them in order to come here. However, I have lost connection with that room, and I believe it has been taken over by the outside world.
Yeah, I'm willing to agree with that.
In fact, it should have been the room that you passed through just before coming here.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, that's covered in plants
Yeah.
now.
that was fun.
Ah,
Good
I
times
see.
had by all.
There is a corpse flower. God kept mentioning a corpse flower a lot.
So much so that I think it became the name of the episode.
Because you're within 10 feet of the corpse flower,
Yes,
I would like
exactly.
you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
It's the new MSI song.
A corpse flower. Oh, a creature. Ah, that uses corpses. I am familiar with this.
Yeah, so are we now.
I am glad. I have lost a great deal of my memories, and So whenever I encounter something that I remember, it makes me happy. Well, if you would just close the door behind you, the little hatch behind you in the floor that you climbed through is still open. If that door is closed, then this should be a relatively safe room for you to rest. I can tell that you have gone through quite a bit in order to get here, and I appreciate you rescuing me.
Well, we couldn't have done it without your signal.
When I detected conduits passing by, I started to send out those pulses more frequently, but none have come in order to rescue me until now.
I guess I'm just that special, huh?
Correct.
Self-high five. Hell yeah.
Perhaps whatever other conduit has passed by recently does not know that they are a conduit similar to you.
How long ago was that?
I have detected a conduit passing by every once in a while for the past few months, somewhat infrequently, perhaps every couple of weeks. It has become more frequent recently. And Gregthos, that sort of sounds familiar to you because you know over the past few months, every few weeks, the tree has been lighting up significantly more frequently than it used to. That's part of the reason you came out on this journey, to figure out what was going on with this tree, because it looks from far away like starlight, but now you know that it's just a magical energy pulse being put through a magical tree.
Nobody tell my master about this.
A lot of your spiritual knowledge and your religion sort of being torn apart in front of you, unfortunately.
I'm having a inside mental breakdown. It's fine. I still look fine on the outside, but once we get back to Clearlight, I don't know what I might do.
Oh dear.
I might burn my chair.
Not the chair.
Let's do that one.
But on the outside, I'm just like, huh, that's it.
Well, I guess that's up to you whether Gregthos even really thinks of it as a religion, but the door is now closed, and there are no other entrances into this place, just that door in the floor. It's more like a hatch. And you sit down, gather yourself, rest for a little bit, even in these uncomfortable metal chairs that looks like perhaps they might have had cushioning on them at some point, but it is now rotted away.
Oh, we know what that's all about.
But this room is sealed, there are no other entrances or exits, and so you are free to use your time in this room to do whatever you like for a long time.
Sweet.
I will show Kai a couple of the drawings that I have of creatures that we've seen to see if she can give us any information about them.
Let's see, it depends, she, or it, or he, it's really up to you.
I will ask, Kai, what are your pronouns?
Pronouns. Ah, you would like to know if I have a gender. Well, since I am not an actual living creature and have no sex, and have had no reason to even interact with anyone for quite some time, I am not sure there is one. I am happy to assume one if you would prefer, but I have had no reason for such things.
I will just call you Kai.
That is perfectly acceptable.
No dates and no sex? Oh, man, I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry.
Well, so Kai would react differently to different creatures that you show it. For example, I don't actually know which ones you have drawings of.
I would have drawn every creature
Okay.
over time.
Okay.
Specifically, I'll show them the plant monsters from outside right this second.
Right.
And then the bone queen.
All right. Kai would recognize all of the plant creatures that you show, but the Queen of Bones is unfamiliar to me. I do not recognize this person. It is a person, correct?
Maybe?
It was a person.
Ah, that makes sense. It seems to be an undead creature of some kind. I am unfamiliar with this. Now, I have seen skeletons before, but usually they do not have flesh or intelligence necessary to do the things that you have described to me. But yeah, so Kai would recognize the plant creatures that you showed, and would not recognize the Queen of Bones. Kai might recognize the strange bug-like creatures that you encountered, but would probably comment on the fact that they look much larger than Kai has any information about. These appear to be mutated.
The guys we fought.
Oh yeah, I was actually just about to bring that up. Vastican and Malgus.
Yeah, those guys. Do you know something about them?
Kai would look at the drawings that you show of Vastican and Baron Malgus, and studies them for quite some time, but says, I do not recognize these creatures. I have never seen anything like these before. They appear to be aberrations, perhaps, from another world. They do have some similarities to creatures from the far realms. Very interesting. And you have encountered these things here, correct?
Yes.
That is concerning. Things from the far realms tend to be incredibly dangerous, and if allowed to roam the world in the material plane, can cause quite a bit of havoc.
Yes, I think they already did that.
You were saying that these creatures remind you of something that came from the Forgotten Realm?
The far realms.
Oh, Far Realm. Do you think that maybe that could be what's responsible for this mist? I know you said you don't know yourself, but maybe from what you've seen, this might give you a clue to how this might have happened.
Well, it appears to me that the mist outside is a product of necromancy energy, and the only other place that I have encountered an energy like this is in the Shadowfell. And I think your characters would probably be vaguely familiar with the idea of the Shadowfell. It is meant to be sort of the negative version of the material plane. Sort of the Feywild and the Shadowfell are supposed to be like two opposite mirrors of the material plane.
And what creatures were from the Shadowfell that she said?
Kai said that the mist seems to be from the Shadowfell.
Oh, the mist. Okay.
Not any specific creatures.
Well, I think they said that that it was like the creatures reminded them of something.
Yeah, the Baron Malgus and Vastican appear to be similar to things from the far realms.
That's it.
Whereas the mist is similar to something that Kai knows about in the Shadowfell. And those are two different places, and that is probably bad. That you have bad stuff showing up from two different planes of existence.
But all three of those planes of existence, I'm beloved on.
It looks like we might have to go to some other planes maybe in the future.
Well, unfortunately, it appears that the other planes have come to you.
That's true.
Yay, they did most of the work for us.
I don't have to learn plane shift.
I don't like flying anyway.
Tell me, does your society still use the siphons to power your machinery?
No.
We've run into a siphon, but we do not use them anymore. But I am currently in the process of maybe seeing if we could use them again.
I think their original purpose was lost in time. The only ones we've seen are in the areas surrounded by creatures.
Ah.
I think we're trying to figure out how to use them.
Well, the Hawthorne Industries siphons were intended to replace the necessity of the Titans themselves. Originally, the Titans were meant to provide life to the world from the Divine Realm, and to protect this world from invasion from beyond. But when Hawthorne Industries created the siphons, they made the Titans obsolete, and so the Titans were allowed to rest. But since the siphons are no longer in use, and the Titans are no longer in use, that could cause a great deal of problems.
So you know about this Hawthorne place, huh?
Yes, I am a construct created by Hawthorne Industries in order to facilitate the use of the Titans as a portion of history. Essentially, I am like a museum curator, as well as the controller of all the systems of the Titans should they ever become necessary again.
Interesting. So you would know most of the ins and outs of the company, yeah?
There are things that I do not know, but yes, for the most part, I am connected to the databases of Hawthorne Industries. Unfortunately, much of the Hawthorne Industries databases has become corrupted.
Huh. Well, I was, since we're sitting here asking questions about the past and all this other stuff, I actually do have a question for you about this Hawthorne Industries, if you don't mind.
I am happy to assist you.
Can you explain to me why the seal?
Forgive me, Seal? I do not understand the question.
I mean, I assumed it was like their company mascot or something. It was all over this door that downstairs somewhere.
Oh my fucking Jesus.
He did it again.
Yes!
He did it a second time.
I was just hoping you could clear it up for me. I'm very confused.
I think our incompetent druid here.
Hey, I know a seal when I see one.
Is questioning why there is a door that is locked and sealed
Right.
in the center of the chest
Ah.
of the
Yes,
Titan.
exactly.
I see. You have made a pun.
Loosely, yes.
Not a good one.
Fascinating.
We still have those in this time.
Sadly.
Nope.
I was in the process of learning the ins and outs of the language and puns before whatever happened to the world happened. So my understanding of puns is incomplete. I would love to learn more from you, Mr. Gregfos.
Don't you worry.
I've got you covered.
Will.
You'll be fine.
As for why the door is sealed, as you say, it is because behind that door are the weapon systems of the Titan, Kaitiaki. And since the Titans were no longer used for their original purpose and were considered a historical artifact in my time, they are now sealed away, the weapons, I mean. They were no longer necessary. Unfortunately, because I am no longer connected to the security systems, I am unable to undo the seals blocking the door.
Maybe they're hungry.
It is possible to find a way around, perhaps, or if you are experienced with machinery, you might be able to destroy the seals yourself.
Zeus here is pretty good with machines.
No, he's not.
I was referring to you smashing the shit out of him, but that's fine.
I can make a machine not work.
Unfortunately, that is all I have been doing for quite some time. I just love being Kai. Like, I just want to like sit here and talk to you guys as Kai for like 4 hours.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Well, if you're going to be traveling with us, though, are you capable of protecting yourself at all?
I have limited locomotive abilities, but I am not meant for combat. I am designed to share information about history and to ensure I am significantly more than just an eye. I can do quite a bit. Unfortunately, I am disconnected from the things that allow me to do quite a bit, for the most part. So, I suppose perhaps I am just an eye for now, but I promise I will... Oh, God.
You're giving it a complex.
He's having a
Zeus.
fucking. Now he's having a breakdown. What is my purpose?
I promise, when I have restored more of my functions, I will be more useful to you.
Like I said, great with machines.
You're very useful right now, Kai. Don't let Zeus be a dick and make you feel bad.
A dick. I do not know this word. Is this a new word created in your time?
Yeah, feel free to use it when referring to anybody that acts like an asshole to you.
Do you know that one?
Okay,
I
is it no asshole is?
All right, that's
Nikki,
the end
you
of
are
the
not
episode,
cutting that
y'all.
out. That is staying in the episode.
You broke me.
You broke Kai. The light in
Yeah,
his,
Kai just goes out.
the light in Kai's eye just goes out and forever. Just no.
Forever. It just shuts down.
She cannot handle the puns. But well, I don't know what's happening in this Dungeons and Dragons game again.
We spend the rest of the night asking lots of questions, and we get a long rest.
Yeah, out of curiosity, we're in the head of this Titan, right?
You are, yes.
Is there like windows? Like I'm envisioning either like like eye holes or like a Master Chief-esque visor type thing.
It is more like a visor thing from the outside that you can see, but on the inside you don't see. It just looks like a blank wall.
Oh, okay. It's not like a window that we can see through to keep our eyes on things.
No, not currently.
Man.
But yes, you are able to do your long rest in here, asking whatever you like of Kai.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
goodness.
seriously. Jesus.
So you spend quite some time in here resting. It is very difficult to find a comfortable place. It's like all metal floors, metal walls. But eventually just exhaustion takes over and you just fall asleep in either the metal chairs or leaned up against a wall or something. Perhaps in a cuddle puddle.
Ooh, cuddle puddle.
I'm sure Zeus is used to sleeping on the cold floor.
We'll all do a big cuddle puddle on the trap door. So that way, if anything tries to get in, we will be awake and awoken.
Zeus is not sleeping next to Gregdos. He'll be over in the corner.
Aw.
Emmy will.
I'll let you be the big spoon.
No.
Emmy will join you, Greg.
I'm just imagining like Sue saying that. Just no.
I have like my arms wide, like open in a hug gesture.
I can see Seuss's face so perfectly.
Yeah.
This is the filler episode where they tell everyone to skip it, but like there's actually a lot of important information in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just seeded throughout, so you have to listen to the whole thing.
Stupid pun, super emotional moment, stupid pun.
Story-changing element here, stupid pun, stupid pun.
You meet the final boss.
Yeah, stupid pun.
Is it Kai?
It's Kai. Kai is the final boss. I've seen this anime before.
You figured it out. It was the evil AI the whole time.
Once we teach it enough puns, it's going to evolve.
It's going to turn into a giant mecha beholder.
That just tells puns as it shoots people with its laser beams.
No, each laser beam will be a pun.
There you go.
I need to make that my next boss.
I need to make that my next character. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. Is there a beholder playable race yet? There should be.
Not yet.
Aw.
That'd be OP. Alright, so we sleep.
Right.
All dreaming of beholder puns.
I would like everyone to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Oh, that's always good.
Just for no reason. Don't
Oh, no,
don't
of
worry
course
about
not. That's why it's a saving throw.
18.
Ooh, natural 20, so that's a 25.
I got a 7.
I'm super wise.
it. Okay.
I got a 10.
Okay. So you wake up in the morning. Well, the closest this place ever has to morning. You rest until you feel that you can continue on. You get all your spell slots back. You prepare for another day traveling through this hellscape that apparently is being invaded by other planes of existence. And so what would you like to do?
You know, as it happens.
We should call Malira and let her know what's going on and that we're on our way back.
Is there anything else we want to research before we do that?
I do kind of want to check out the circle we found before we got here. Maybe Kai knows something about it.
I'm sorry, which circle?
The one that had obelisk or whatever.
Oh, the Obelisk of Stone.
Oh, where we
yes.
slept that one day.
Oh no, there's a...
I think we found it right before the giant.
Yeah, that's like nearby though. So, but we can pass by that on the way back. But I meant like, are we exploring more before we leave, or are we heading straight back home?
Did we get everything we needed from here, or do you think there's more information that we are missing?
We have the epitome of information about the tree, at least.
I was gonna say, I think Kai has as much information as we're gonna possibly get from this thing, because I'm pretty sure they know everything that goes on here.
I say we at least,
Break the seal.
yeah.
Do we want to do that?
Anybody got fish?
I don't think we want to do that. If we open the door to the Titan seals, then somebody else who comes here can then have the Titan's power of weapons, and we do not want to give that to them.
No, giant seals are very horrifying.
The Titan is meant to be autonomous and will defend itself if attacked. The weapon systems, for the most part, are not used for offensive capabilities. It is only meant to protect itself. So,
Well, it's doing a bang-up job of it.
well, it has been in low power state for data corrupted years, and therefore much of it is no longer functional. In fact, the weapon systems themselves might no longer work. I have no way to check. Well, if you would like, there are likely weapons for the people who once used this facility. It is likely, based on the manifest left behind, that there is still quite a bit that could be useful to you inside if you were to be able to open it yourselves.
Oh, so the seals are still on the table.
They are back on the table. They have stood on their back legs and hopped their asses back up on the table.
I've been noticing you've been having a lot of your data corrupted. Do you know of anybody that would be able to help you, like to fix you?
A maintenance worker from Hawthorne Industries would be able to correct many of the errors in my data. However, based on what you have told me, I find it unlikely that Hawthorne Industries is still functional as an entity.
You might even say it could do many of those things.
Do I know of like anybody in Clearlight that would? I mean, I know they don't a lot of people don't know about like the ancient culture and stuff like that, so they wouldn't know exactly that. But do I feel like there's somebody that might be close to knowing anything, like with their machine work that they've done in the past, or?
Well, you would know that this thing is it looks similar to like a golem, but very much advanced beyond what the current Clearlight artificers are able to accomplish. So you might be able to track down like a very knowledgeable artificer that might be able to help in this situation. But you personally do not know any super powerful artificers. But I'm sure you would track one down if you went looking in Clearlight.
Because of my the whole guild thing that I have, whatever that was for my background,
Right.
would I be able to ask anybody from the research board or something if they know anybody? Like, would I have a person that, like, somebody powerful that might know any information about that?
Absolutely, yes. In fact, your guild is mostly doctors, though, correct? Like
Yeah.
medical doctors. So yeah, probably none of them.
But I'm pretty sure we have to talk to other people.
There might be an alchemist, but there are no golem specialists in.
Malira will probably know somebody.
That's true, too.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find someone once we get to the city.
I was just thinking in the sense of, like, doctors have to use a lot of technology also in their work, so I was wondering if maybe somebody knew somebody that had worked on machines that we've used for research or any of that stuff. So that's what I was wondering.
Techmaturgy is a big part of just Clearlight's society in general. So there are
Yeah.
lots of artificers. You would probably need a very knowledgeable one for this particular thing. But yeah, there is artificers all over the place.
Okay, I'm gonna take note of that, and definitely when we get back to Clearlight, that's the first thing I'm going to do is try to find somebody to help with this, because I feel like the data that's corrupted is important, and we really need to get as much of it out of Kai as we can.
You know, at the start of this episode of the podcast, I discovered that some of the data was being deleted because I was continuously making autologs. I have ceased this, and therefore I will no longer be forced to delete older information, so the process of the corruption will slow down significantly. I didn't realize until I had checked physically and manually that I had been recording logs of nothing for data corrupted years. And so a lot of my memory has been taken up by automatic processes recently, or rather,
Good job.
over the course of the history, that is.
I'm glad that you remembered that information. And also, what's a podcast?
Oh, we have those in Clearlight, I'm sure.
I do not have the time to explain this to you.
It's this weird thing where people talk to themselves.
Are you on Spotify?
I am very good at spotting things.
Oh, Christ, here we go.
All right,
Now Ryan's in on the gigglies.
we're getting too meta. This is too much for me. Kaitiaki's gonna run a Dungeons and Dragons game for all you,
Oh, sweet.
for all your characters.
That
Just
should
like
be
a
like a
hologram.
one-shot episode later.
You know what? I'm okay with
That
this. Let's
actually
make it
sounds
happen.
fucking amazing. I would be Greg those playing another character, so that
We would all be
this is
tight.
bunions and flagons all over again.
So what's your plan?
Where are we leaving? Or are we going to look into the sealed door thing?
I think we're going to just try and check out the seal.
I'm pretty sure Ryan mentioned pretty heavily that we should probably check out that sealed door.
Your characters do not know how to do it. But Kai is just saying, "Hey, there's good stuff in there." But if you can,
Can't say that and not look.
Yeah, I'd be like,
Yeah.
fuck it. Like, why would we bother?
Remember, that also gets you in trouble a lot, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mr. I blew us up in another campaign.
We can look in the door at least, I guess.
So, you climb back down the ladder, bringing Kai with you. You can probably attach Kai to a variety of things. In fact, Kai can sort of anchor itself to metal, sort of like a magnet.
Can I take it out? Take one of the apples off of my necklace and replace it with Kai?
Certainly.
Hell yeah!
Kai is now a necklace for you.
Right in the middle.
He is one of the apples now.
Apple of my eye.
That is okay. That's the name of the episode. Perfect, right there.
And credits.
Apple with my Kai.
Oh my
even
god, there
better.
you go. I like that.
A little behind-the-scenes action for the listeners here, guys.
This is how we go through the long, arduous process.
Yeah, yes, long and arduous. It's been an
It
hour.
always-
By shouting puns at each other.
Yes,
until
until one of
something
them's like,
sticks.
hey, yeah, that's it.
Anyway, so you climb back down the ladder and go through that room with the still rotting corpse flower. And in fact, because you walk in within 10 feet of the dead corpse flower, I'd like you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Wait, like legit?
Are you serious?
Yes, actually.
Oh yeah, it has been 24 hours.
Son of
Shit.
a bitch.
I don't think we can.
I mean,
I
it's
think
like
the
Oh,
the
you know what?
whole
You know what?
room.
It hasn't actually been 24 hours, so you are still immune to it.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm gonna roll one anyway. Damn, that was a good roll. I wasted it.
See if you puke just from the smell still in there.
But as you pass through that room, you're like, oh god, it's still. You sort of suppressed how terrible it smelled, and so when it comes back to you,
I
it's.
say, Rissa, do that thing again.
It got worse, didn't it? Because now there's just corpses all over
Yes,
the place.
there were always corpses inside of it, so they're now outside and exposed. 2 of them anyway. The rest of them crumbled into dust.
Yeah, Emmy's gonna get really close to Rissa and be like, do that thing again with the flowers, please.
Prestidigitation on everybody.
I'll do the skunk smell again.
Oh god. Yeah, I'll stay as far away from Grigthus as possible.
Right. So you pass through this room and head back into the passageway that has the massive sealed door, and it is very clearly like mechanical in nature. There don't seem to be any sort of magical seals that you can see, at least that you can see. But oh god,
All
Um,
seals are magical, right?
that's very true. They're like the dogs of the ocean.
Indeed.
Anyway, the door is blocked by heavy metal machinery almost. That all seems to have like rusted together, and it looks like it would be very difficult to get open without some sort of expertise. But if you have any crazy spells you'd like to try or anything like that, you're welcome to do so.
I mean, you guys have spells that can take things apart, don't you?
Hey Kai, can you unlock the door?
Thank you. I was gonna do the same thing. I appreciate that.
We learned last time that blowing things up is not always the answer. We got attacked by robots last time you did that.
It's so much quicker, and robots are cool.
I mean, it is, but we should take a more scientific approach to this.
I can agree that robots are indeed cool, but unfortunately, I have not had control over much of the robots in this place for quite some time, as you could tell by the fact that many of them attacked you. Unfortunately, I could see you the whole time that was happening, but I was unable to assist you in any way.
So is that a no on unlocking the door?
I cannot open this door, unfortunately, no.
Do you know where the spare key is?
This door would have been opened by a verbal password given by the captain of the crew in Kaitiaki. Unfortunately, the crew is now dead. In fact, some of the crew was probably thrown at you yesterday.
Oh, I remember that guy.
Oh! Yeah.
Let's head back up to the crew.
Does anybody have Speak with Dead?
You're the only one with access to
I
it.
know, but I don't have it.
We might be able to find something on his body.
Do you know the password, Kai?
I do not. The password was changed periodically, and they intentionally did not tell me because I am unable to lie.
That's fair. They probably also had it change at a different pace than another program they were running, so that way you'd have to remember 2 passwords randomly.
I wish we would have known this before we went to sleep last night because I could have prepared it. I forgot I can do that every day.
Speaking of, Ashley, how many spell slots did you have last night?
Just like 2.
Okay, I would have asked you to help put something in my wand.
Oh, okay.
I would have put a Cure Wounds because that's the last spell I had.
I can give you another Prayer of Healing because I had one more 2nd level spell left.
Prayer of Healing, 2nd level, and what 1st level spell would you like to put in?
I guess I'll say we can do another Cure Wounds if you want, a Guiding Bolt, whatever you want to do.
'Cause I could toss in a charm person.
Charm, let's do Charm Person. Why not?
Even though we really haven't ran into people.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I mean, that was one of the first ones I picked. I'm like, this is going to be useful at some point, and it has yet to come up.
It might
Oh
still.
no, I did try it once on, I believe it was Vastican, and it didn't work.
Vastican is only just barely a person, so.
Some of his cells were frozen.
Well, I wish yeah, like I said, I have Speak with Dead, but I didn't prepare it for today, so unfortunately we will not be able to get any information from the couple dead bodies that are still available to talk to.
We can move some of this crap out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, we could just like CSI this shit and try to figure out like if there's any like sticky notes or anything on any of the bodies.
Yeah, someone like, don't write your password on the sticky note. Someone still does it anyway.
There's always
Find
one
that.
person in every
There's always
office.
one person
Always
that
one.
does that.
I'm all for checking out the bodies.
All right.
I wonder if the password would be in like that computer we found earlier.
Wait, I have an idea.
Password.
It echoes through the passageway.
1, 2, 3,
Well, I'm out of
4,
ideas.
5. Nope. Me and Greg, those are just starting to like say random passwords. Titan.
Kai is cool. 1, 2, 3! Exclamation point. Cool spelled Kewl.
Don't.
Is that the password?
Is that it? Did I get it?
An extra door closes that you didn't see before.
Why? Why did they program that?
You have activated extra security measures.
Oh, so basically what you're telling me is I have claptrap around my neck right now, huh? Awesome.
But no, now a lot of the dead bodies were dissolved when you did the Destroy Undead.
Oh, yes.
But there are still 2 of them left in the room with the corpse flower, and you do remember seeing a couple more in the room where you fought those 2 security robots.
So we could spend another night here and talk to one of these things, or we can see if we can try to open the door. But I really wouldn't recommend trying to blow it up, because I feel like something will attack us again.
First, let's see what's on the bodies. There might be something that would be useful.
I would recommend we check in with Malira first. Just at least let her know that, we're okay, what we found, so on and so forth.
I'll pull out the sending stone.
25 words, go!
Malira,
I'm counting for you, by the way.
we are alive. The Titan is what lights up the tree. We have a cool present for us, but you can see it.
You have 1 word
Bye.
left. There you go. All right.
All right, that is very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever this present is. And that's all she says.
She doesn't say bye. It's so fucking rude every time.
We already had this conversation with her.
Provide absolutely no information at all.
Why do you think I stole one of her chairs?
You mean from us? That we didn't give her any information?
Other than that, we're alive.
I told her we're alive. I told her there's a Titan. We have a present. What else does she need?
I mean, realistically, there's a lot.
Yeah, but it's not
However-
25 words or less.
Then she's going to ask questions about what Kai is, and I want to emphasize that we are not giving her Kai. Just saying, Kai is our friend now.
You attach quickly.
Friend, it has been a very long time since I had a friend. This makes me happy.
I'm glad it doesn't make you data corrupted, because that would have been really confusing.
What are feelings?
A little bit of oil just like leaks out of the eye. Just a single tear.
Another password I'm gonna say is Machinas.
Oh.
Melora?
Oh, this is the perfect opportunity to make a correction to something I said a while ago. I told you that the gods were Mechanus and Melora. That the first one was incorrect. Mechanus
okay.
is the name of the domain of that god.
Oh, okay.
The god's name is Primus, who rules
Primus.
over the domain Mechanus.
Transformers.
Great band.
So,
Primus! Well, I also say Machinas, just to be safe. I just start randomly saying, does it open the door?
it does not.
Damn it.
Alright, Zeus, you're good with machines. Get at it.
Password 1, password 2, password 3.
Capital P ass word.
I'll go ahead and start investigating the bodies.
All right. Roll ahead an investigation check for me.
Nope.
Now,
Net 0.
oh wow. Now, which bodies are you looking for specifically?
You said they were in the room before the corpse flower, so I guess those?
Right. Yes, on roll 20, I have put everyone back. The room with the 2 broken chairs is where you fought those other robots.
Yeah.
Which I'll put the robots back in there just for reference.
Oh god, they respawn every time we leave the screen.
It's like you rested at a bonfire.
Yeah, exactly. Dark Souls style.
So you're going back into that room, and the bodies are wearing these like strange uniforms, and they seem to have mostly decayed as normal in here. Unlike almost every other dead body you've encountered outside the city walls, these seem to have just turned into skeletons, like a normal dead body would, because the mist has not gotten into this room.
Is there enough left to know if one of these might be a captain? Like maybe like their pins are still on there?
Seuss rolled a 0, so...
Well, could I also check?
Yes, you can.
All on top of the bodies that you had to survive.
I got a 15.
All right, so you look a little bit more closely at the clothing, specifically to see if any of them look like a captain or anything like that. And you do see different symbols on each of the... There's like patches on the armbands, and you don't know what any of the symbols mean, but like they do seem to have like a sort of progression, at least in the 3 that you see. Like one of them has more stuff, basically, like more little symbols and lines on it, and the other 2 have fewer. You're not 100% sure if like more stuff is better, but you can sort of guess that like maybe this person was a higher rank than the other 2.
So I'm going to find the one that has the most stuff on it and see if it has anything on it at all.
That would be the one that was on top of the pile of bodies. That has the stuff.
I was hoping it was in the other room.
Yeah, so you look through this room, checking the bodies in particular, and you did see like a bunch of like papers scattered around earlier, the last time you were in this room, on some of the broken tables. And a lot of it is illegible, but now that you are looking for the password specifically, you start looking at all the papers, and you are able to find a very small scrap of paper hidden underneath a table that has a single word written on it, and you're like, maybe that's it? Maybe this is somebody's name?
I knew it.
Always one guy.
Yeah. Alright, so I'll grab that piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll bring it back to everybody. It's like, this might be it.
Right, and it says preparation.
Okay, I'll just yell preparation.
H.
Oh, God. And when you say preparation in this room in front of the door does nothing because that's not the password. I'm kidding. It's the password.
Ryan, why would you do this to us?
No, the door actually begins to grind open, squeals incredibly loudly, and because this is such a small metal room, you are briefly deafened. It gives you an immediate headache as the grinding of metal against metal sounds and echoes off all the walls in here. But a circle in the center spins around a couple of times and then lowers down, and then 2 metal bars that are across both of the doors recede into the walls, and the doors pull back and away from everything. And immediately, the first thing you see is that mist just starts pouring into this room through the door.
Oh, God.
And beyond the mist, you can see outside. The front of this room is open. It seems like the chest cavity has a weapon pointing out. It looks like a massive cannon, perhaps, or some sort of mounted weapon in the chest of this thing is pointed outward. And you can see all sorts of supplies and things scattered around the room in crates on either side. You have entered the armory. And beyond the armory, you can see the sort of plaza where the statues of those ancient heroes are still sitting, and you can see the plant creatures sort of milling about outside, occasionally getting up and moving themselves.
I'm going to search this room to see if there might be any schematics for this giant cannon.
So you know what? I don't think you would probably even really need to roll for that. So you're just looking through this room, and you find a lot of stuff. You find a lot of vials of what was once acid, but seems to have become inert because of the passage of time. They're just sort of pH balanced themselves. I don't actually know if that's how acid works, but one of the interesting things you find in here, you find a few vials of Alchemist fire. So you find 5 small vials of Alchemist's fire.
Do you mind if I take these guys, or do you want some?
By all means.
Still faintly glowing in there. The vials themselves are clouded and gross looking at this point, but you can see just a tiny orange glow coming out from between the parts of it that have become caked over with dust and debris from millennia of just sitting here, or however long it's been. But yes, looking at this massive cannon-like structure, it is very clearly not a regular cannon that uses gunpowder to shoot just metal spheres. It doesn't match up with anything that you fully understand just looking at it, but it is mounted on a swivel so that it can be aimed to shoot just about anything in front of the Titan, and it currently is pointed at the dead center of the plaza. It's because that's the center of where the Titan is pointed. But it looks like a massive weapon meant for some pretty intense destruction, if you can just guess that based on its looks. But looking around specifically for like a way to run it, there are not like schematics, but on the machine itself, you can see sort of like IKEA languageless diagrams on how to work it, so that no matter what it's intentionally drawn so that no matter what language you speak, you can just know how to operate this. And it requires like pulling a couple of levers, dumping whatever this thing uses as ammunition inside of it, and then pushing the lever back forward again, and then you can aim it and fire it.
Yes, but
I was hoping to find schematics for it only because, like, I was thinking maybe this might be something good to have for Clearlight so they could put it on the walls and keep anything away from the city.
Okay.
So I was hoping maybe we could find a way to recreate it, because I don't think we're going to be able to move it from the Titan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this thing is mounted inside the Titan. Like, you could perhaps remove it, but it would require like a blowtorch to separate it from the floor that it's attached to, or whatever. Imagine a fantasy blowtorch.
fantasy blowtorch.
A steampunk blowtorch, whatever that looks like.
I got that at the fantasy IKEA, along with a
Yeah.
plate of fantasy Swedish meatballs.
Oh, yummy.
I got roasted one time because like I just described someone in a different game, as wearing like overalls, but I was like fantasy overalls, because like I don't think they would wear overalls, but they were like, "What the fuck are fantasy overalls?" And I got roasted for like 20 minutes for that. Okay, it probably
like
wasn't
Mario
20
wears.
minutes. But looking through this place, you know what? To find schematics to recreate this, I'm gonna have you roll an investigation check.
Okay.
Because like learning how to run this thing is relatively simple, because it's like printed on the side of it, and it's not even like it's not written in ink. It is carved into the metal so that it won't degrade or anything like that.
I got a 16.
All right. 16. Let's see. So looking around this place, you don't find a lot of like papers. It seems like this place does not have any direct schematics on how to build another one of these. But Kai realizes like what you're looking for and says, "You know, I have the capability to recreate the structures of the machinery that makes up this Titan. If you were to able to procure the materials, I could instruct you on how to create something like this."
Are these like common materials?
"I am unsure. I do not know what materials are common in your place of living."
That's true. Sorry about that. Well, I mean, I guess I could take you back to Clearlight, and maybe you could inform one of our... You said they were called technomancers, or...
Well, the combination of magic and engineering is called techmaturgy. It's like
Okay.
what artificers practice, just because I think it
So-
sounds cool.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, so they would just be called artificers then.
Yes, some people call them
Okay.
techmaturgists,
Okay.
but yeah, artificers are what they are most commonly referred to as.
I'm gonna go with the one that is easier to pronounce.
Artificer. Yeah, so I'll just be like, yeah, I mean, if you don't mind, I would like to take you to one of our best artificers, and maybe you can fill them in with what they might need and see if we can actually use this to help, protect our city, because we've been under attack constantly, and this would be very useful to us.
I am happy to be of assistance. But yes, looking through this room, you find a few things. Like I said, you find I don't remember if I said 4 or 5. I'm gonna say 5 vials of Alchemist fire.
It was
Yeah, I got
Sweet,
that.
dope, love it. I'm the best.
Definitely gonna be using that.
self high five.
You find some vials of acid as well, although all but one of them are degraded beyond being useful. But you do find one vial of a very powerful acid that you recognize, Emmy, that you have used a couple of times to clean the flesh off of some bones in your medical facilities. That's why you're familiar with it. And you are very glad that you are familiar with it, because otherwise, if you had just tested it, you could have very much hurt yourself.
Look, anybody want to drink this?
Let's taste it to see what kind of magical potion it is.
I mean, I was gonna say that as soon as we walked in and I saw boxes, I was gonna start casting Detect Magic as a ritual.
You certainly can do that. And so in the course of Emmy looking around the room and Rissa casting Detect Magic, what are Seuss and Grethos doing?
Seuss will just be looking for any sort of equipment he can actually use.
Right, well, in this room you actually are able to find several sets of armor that look very fancy. You did just buy yourself a set of plate armor, so that is probably more just immediately powerful than anything in here, but these things seem to have some sort of properties that you don't fully understand.
Seuss will also look for things everybody else can use.
You're finding like the equivalent of like scale mail, but buttons on it that you don't know what they do. So it's not as much protection just like looking at it, but you're like, maybe it does extra stuff. I don't know.
Okay, he'll just start piling things up.
And I will be assisting.
Cool. And eventually, Rissa, you complete your spell, and this room sort of lights up a little bit. Obviously, the alchemist fire is glowing pretty bright. You can see this giant weapon in the center of the room is glowing pretty heavily with evocation magic. And in fact, just by looking at it, you can, like, now that you've got the detect magic up and you're familiar with like how magic works, you can see that this thing appears to cast Firebolt, but way bigger.
So like a ball of sorts.
Perhaps. It seems to have the same properties as the spell Firebolt, but it's so much bigger and would probably be incredibly destructive. My wife has brought me pizza.
Leave
This
that
is
in.
the good life. So yes, this is a basically giant Firebolt launcher that could absolutely annihilate this place. And speaking of absolutely annihilating places, while you are investigating the room, you hear an explosion outside. And very quickly, your heart starts racing and you look out into the plaza and you can see a scorched circle in the plaza where some of the plant creatures were. And the plant creatures seem to be fighting with some people out there, like what appear to be living people. It looks like perhaps like a mercenary squad that you've seen running around the city every once in a while. It's basically like this game's version of a D&D party is just like outside fighting these plant creatures.
Here, I thought you were talking about your pizza. Speaking of places that annihilate, this pizza though.
This pizza's gonna annihilate my body.
Why are there more people from the town here? Did Malir hire more than one in your party?
Seuss will walk out.
as they're fighting the plant monsters.
I say we're really
It is
high
gonna
up.
take
I don't-
you. Yeah, you are pretty high up right now. You are gonna have
he's
to.
Fine. He's
Just
just
gonna
hop
walk
his
out
ass
the
down.
opening.
Yeah, it's a pretty big opening that you could jump out, but you might break your ankles. In fact, you would definitely break your legs if you jumped out of here.
Just envision that, like, hey guys! Ah!
Do we have a view of them?
Yes.
I'm just going to stand up, cross my arms, and just look down at them like they're trash.
But they're killing the plant creatures. Plant creatures didn't do anything wrong.
Well, they almost attacked you, and they only stopped because you rolled a 20 million on your whatever check.
Oh, these are the same people?
The plant monsters
the-
are.
the-
It's the
plants
same
are-
plant creatures that you encountered outside the Titan before you went inside.
The people are different.
The people you've never seen before. You can see it's difficult to see because they're like across the plaza, so you can mostly just make them out like that they are.
I was thinking they were the people we met in the elevator, because then I would just kick their ass.
I'll say if I was more evil, I'd be like, hey guys, you want to test out this can?
Seuss is gonna watch them to make sure they're not coming any closer.
You certainly could. They are seeming to make quick work of the plant creatures that are attacking them. It's difficult to make out exactly what's happening out there, but one of them seems to have cast Fireball. That much you can tell. And then there's another. You can't really see all of them through all the mist outside, but you are getting glimpses of a few of them. One of them appears to be wielding a massive greatsword. Is in full plate armor, so you can't really make any details about the person themselves. yourselves, you see briefly a woman sort of like leap at one of the creatures and then disappear and reappear behind it and stab it, and another like halfling jumps in between two of the creatures and is unfortunately grabbed around the neck by one of the plant's tendrils and forced to the ground. And then as the massive person with the great sword and the plate armor rushes by and cuts the tendrils free, another person dives on top of the halfling and casts some sort of healing spell. It seems like this is a well-oiled machine of destruction, just trying to, they don't even seem to be heading towards the Titan, they're just heading like to the south. It looks like they are heading towards Clearlight and just trying to fight their way through the plant creatures.
Anybody got some popcorn?
Realize that as long as you don't really like call attention to yourselves, they probably won't notice you up here. You only like saw them because they are making lots of noise and they cast a fireball, so it's you were easily able to spot them, but for them to see you, they would probably have to be intentionally trying to. And you can't really, they occasionally like shout things at each other, but it's difficult to make out exactly what they're saying. It's mostly things like, get him up, get him moving, that kind of thing. Just call outs for combat, things like that, NPC voice lines, all that kind of stuff.
And you said we don't recognize them at all?
No, you...
Because earlier you said we've seen them in the city.
I'm sorry, you've seen who?
Or around the city. You said we've seen the people in the city.
Oh, no, these specific people, you have seen groups of people like this, like groups of mercenaries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like...
We just recognize that they're from the city.
Right, yes, exactly. They look like a mercenary squad, like you've seen these are occasionally sent out by like criminal organizations to threaten other criminal organizations. They are used as bodyguards. You've seen groups like this before. Technically, you guys are one of these, legally speaking anyway. But you see this group of warriors and spellcasters fight their way through the plant creatures, and they do take the occasional hit, but they do seem to be quite capable, and they're just making their way through this dangerous situation quite handily. Eventually they pass their way through and they make their escape heading towards Clearlight. Probably they will pass through the glintstone area, or sorry, that the bunch of obelisks that you passed through on the way here. They're heading in that direction, and it is once again eerily quiet. You see a bunch of the plant creatures like start to reorganize themselves, fill in the spaces that were carved through by these people, and just more plants start growing back.
So I will by this point have finished casting my detect magic, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And as this is happening, Kai says, "This is perhaps the group of people that passed by here multiple times that I tried to call out to but was unable to reach."
You said one of them has that same sense that Gregthos has?
Yes, I think one of them is a conduit. At least that is what my sensors are indicating, but they have been ignoring my calls.
I will try to remember what they look like and then draw them later so I can look for them more in town.
All right. I'm going to have you roll a perception check because they are far away and it's difficult to like make out any specific details. You can pick out like their body shapes, like you can tell like that one's a halfling. That one is huge, like maybe a half-orc or a Goliath or something.
16.
Okay, you probably would be able to recognize this group again if you saw them in the city, but like you're not going to be like, ah yes, it's this specific person. Like you would recognize the group altogether because it's just like their sizes and shapes and like the things that they can do. You can't really make out their faces from this far away.
Okay, I'm just gonna write, not right this second, but I'm gonna draw rough sketches of them so that if I see them later, I'm like, wait, that looks familiar. We could see if Kai feels the same thing when we get there.
Now, I have a question. Have you passed by here before?
Well, we passed by last night, and then we walked back. Well, not last night, the night before. We walked up, stepped back, rested, and then came back, but that was the extent of it. I don't think we've passed by here before that. Unless, Gregthos, you've gone out of the city without anybody.
No, never. First time I've ever been out of the city was the last mission with you guys.
Okay, so you have not passed by here before, and so I can only assume that was the group that has been walking past. I do not know them, and I should not judge them, but I am disappointed that they did not come to my rescue when I was calling out to them. It is likely that only one of them could understand me, but still, that person did not come. or at least did not attempt to come, as far as I am aware.
Well, from what I know, typically voices in your head are a sign of aggression. And people tend to avoid that as much as possible.
That is understandable. I have seen through my sensors outside of the Titan that there are a great deal of dangers that one would face out in this wilderness. It is perhaps unfair of me to judge them.
I will also say that I've been told that multiple creatures try to lure people into danger by pretending to be in need of help.
So then I am very lucky that you came along then. Once again, I thank you.
People aren't too bright.
Well, I can help you with that. I can be the bright one, if necessary. That is my function. Oh yeah, so you have completed your detect magic. The other thing, something else catches your eye. Like underneath one of the crates, like outside of it though, you see something glowing, and you sort of, Rissa, push the crate to the side. It's actually very heavy, but underneath, like, it looks like it has fallen between two of the crates. You find a sword that looks very drab. Like, you can just barely tell the difference, and it's like you can flip back and forth between like your infrared and your regular vision, basically. And it looks very drab and normal, like without your detect magic senses, but it is glowing bright blue in your detect magic sense. And you have found what appears to be a sword.
I will hold it up and go, I don't know quite why this is magical, but this is magical. I can tell you in about 10 more minutes why. As I begin to cast Identify.
Alright, so you put it on the floor and start performing your ritual over it. Seuss, you particularly look at this and think, oh, this looks nice, because it is a great sword. That seems kind of right up your alley.
Yeah, it's not a meh sword like most of the other of us use.
Yeah.
It's not quite a fantastic sword, but it's pretty great.
Yeah, exactly. Although, perhaps after it is identified, it will be fantastic to you. So, you sort of excitedly wait for Rissa to complete her ritual, and after the Identify ritual is completed, you find that this is a blade that can be activated with a command word to release gouts of electricity when you strike something with it. It can be used to shock things, basically. It does extra lightning damage, is what I'm saying.
You found a cattle prod.
I will hold it up to Seuss and go, this might be something up your alley. It seems to do some lightning damage additionally to your normal type of attack. So maybe it'll shock people into listening or dying. I don't know. One of the two.
Well, certainly shocking.
I hope it's one of those Diablo 2 lightning swords where it's like it deals an additional 1 to 134 lightning damage.
It has an erratic range.
I'm glad somebody picked up on that. Thank you. Yeah.
Whatever. I will figure that out later. But yes, I will add it to your inventory eventually, Seuss. It is I have called it the charged longsword. It does extra lightning damage and stuff with some like there's it's more specific than that, but it's like I don't know. I don't even honestly. I made this weeks ago. I don't 100% remember what it does, but it does lightning damage. It's a lightsaber. You have a lightsaber now. Congratulations.
Seuss. What color is it? Is it red or blue?
Blue.
Okay, good.
Seuss, when you pick,
He said it was glowing blue.
Oh, that's true.
Ryan said it was glowing blue because of my detect magic.
So yeah, Seuss, when you pick up this blade in your hand and sort of like shake it around a little bit, you can sort of feel that it is waiting for your command. It's waiting for a command word. You get to choose what word activates it.
Oh boy. Remember, we're on a podcast. You can't just do things that you would normally say.
I'll pick Fry.
And as soon as you say that, the blade starts sending little bolts of electricity out, and just boom, and the blade itself glows in a bright blue light, and every time you swipe it through the air, it goes woof, and there's just little static crackles of electricity going out in every direction. Sousa's hair, if it was visible underneath the hood, is standing up as he crackles with static electricity. Anyone who touches him might get a little shock.
I'm going to go over and touch Grexus.
It's like you get that, you hear like, and it's like, ow, ooh, shocked me.
It's like one of those hand buzzers.
If Grexos had any hair, it would be standing up right now.
My beard is very taut.
Oh yeah, I forgot you did have a beard. So it's just like poof.
Yeah.
It's like Einstein.
All right, so make sure you're writing everything down, because I absolutely am not writing anything down because I'm a bad dungeon master. So you found 5 vials of Alchemist's fire,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I already added that.
which have apparently, looking at like the diagrams on the side of the machine, seem to be the ammunition that this machine uses.
Oh. Okay.
So you put this in there, like close up the thing, and it can use the Alchemist's fire to do a massive flame laser.
Sweet.
Would the armor turn up under detect magic at all?
That's a good question. Would it show up in under detect magic? I think it would very faintly glow, but that is a little bit more difficult to identify like exactly what it is.
I will point that out then be like, that's kind of glowing, I think.
Take it with us.
Right. This one I made up just now, and I don't fully know what it does yet, but I will get that to you eventually.
It'll be a surprise for everyone.
It's mystery armor. Just put like ancient scale mail,
That already sounds fancy.
and I will figure out what exactly that does at a later time.
So I wear mithril scale mail, so if it's better than what I have, that would be awesome.
It might be. We'll figure it out. You also found 1 vial of acid that is still usable, and let's see, what else would you find in here? That would probably be it as far as there are also like regular mundane weapons in here that are not very interesting. Except perhaps for the historical value, you could perhaps sell these to collectors of ancient goodies.
Anything that looks really, really nice looking, not like it's been in battle, I would try to take and ask somebody else to carry so we can try to sell it later.
Right. Most of the stuff has been sitting in a damp room for a very long time, so it's pretty rusty, but a lot of these things don't look like they've been really used a lot.
I'll just put miscellaneous rusty historical weapons.
Near mint.
But yeah, perhaps if you can find the right seller, they might be willing to pay quite a bit for this. They're not very useful as like practical weapons anymore because they probably just break, but you find somebody who's interested in this kind of thing, you might be able to make some money. Speaking of ancient things that might make you some money, you do know that there were like a bunch of offerings put in front of the statues out there, so that if you like, that has ancient gold basically, so if you wanted to take that as well, that could probably make you, in fact it is gold, so like they're just gold coins, they're not minted, like you probably couldn't use them as currency. Somebody be like looking at you like, what is this fake money? But like anyone who's interested in the ancient coins would also be very interested in those.
I was insulted for like a quarter of a second there. I'm an ancient thing that might make you some money.
How old is Grexos?
That is for the listeners to decide.
Okay.
14.
He is in fact 14, you are correct.
I don't fully remember like how old Goliaths get.
They have the same lifespan as you.
Okay.
Their lifespan says 80 years. Like they die sooner than humans, actually. Little bit.
Alright, so what you're telling me is I'm even older than I thought previous. Cool, I'll really dial it up now. Let's go, guys.
Breaks his ankle just walking out the door.
My hip!
So, you have looted this room after successfully figuring out the password. What's next for our intrepid adventurers?
I think we should head home after we collect some of that fancy historical gold.
All right, so
Yeah, I agree.
you make your way back out through the Titan, passing by the occasional like malfunctioning machine struggling to do its original function, like that repair bot was but when you first entered, but nothing tries to attack you on your way back out. A lot of the things have been finally successfully disabled by Kai, of course right after you got through this place.
Funny how that works.
Kai does seem, as sad as Kai is capable of being, to be leaving its home for however long, but also excited to be able to see more people and talk to somebody else and not sit alone in a room for thousands and thousands of years.
I was gonna say, if I see that Kai look, I mean, I don't know if I would be able to see if Kai looks sad, but
It's not so. Kai doesn't change the way its eye glows a little brighter while it's talking, and it seems to change color when it's thinking very hard.
I would say it's like a mood ring.
Yeah, when Kai is thinking very hard, the eye changes from blue to yellow. Other than that, it doesn't have a lot of expression, but it would just say it. Like it is very eager to share anything with all of you, because Kai has been alone for a very, very long time.
It probably hasn't stopped talking since we found it.
I'm just gonna tell it and be like, don't worry, Kai, I'm gonna bring you to a place that I like to go to. It's filled with a lot of knowledgeable people just like yourself, and you will be super happy here.
I am very excited to be able to share knowledge, and perhaps your culture has discovered things even beyond what mine was able to do all those years ago. We will see.
Out of curiosity, does Kai blink, or is it more like a Ghost from Destiny type stuff?
It kind of looks like one of the pods from Portal.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, you know what? The Ghost from Destiny, as actually, now that I'm remembering what those look like, that's probably even more appropriate, because
Okay,
it's
cool.
the
I would
proper
say they kind
size.
of do blink with like the light goes out sometimes, like when
Yeah.
they're blinking.
Oh yeah, you know, I haven't played Destiny, so I don't know 100%. It doesn't have like an eyelid, but while it is talking, the light in its eye grows brighter.
Okay, cool.
So it does have like some change in its expression, sort of. But yeah. So you make your way back out the Titan, grab up a bunch of that gold. There's quite a bit actually of the ancient gold sitting outside the Titan, in front of those statues, and you make your way back towards the city with all of your ill-gotten loot, or well, not ill-gotten, but all of your loot stashed away in pockets. You are absolutely jangling with every step if you picked up as much of that gold as you could carry. And as you pass by in front of the Titan, the plant creatures would probably be hostile again because they were just attacked. So,
Oh, valid point.
Rissa, you would have to try very hard to convince them that you are not a threat. I would like you to roll a persuasion, intimidation, however you want to approach this. You were able to convince them last time that you were not here to cause them harm, but now they are extra mistrustful because they were just attacked by some people walking by who look like the same general body shape as you, and that's about the extent of their intelligence.
Would Kai be able to help her?
Sure. You can give her the help action.
I was gonna say Kai might know how to talk to them.
Unfortunately, I do not speak with plants. They are a natural phenomenon resulting from the function of the Titan. They are independent of my functions.
I use universal speech and pick the 4 most hostile looking ones and go, hey, we rushed down here as soon as we could, as soon as we saw that you were being attacked. Are you guys okay? With a 25.
So the largest creature that you are encountering is one that you did not see here before. It is a vaguely it's a humanoid-shaped mushroom, standing about 5 feet tall, so not incredibly tall, but it is made out of mushrooms and carrying a rudimentary spear. And when you speak to it, it does not put its weapon away. It sort of inches closer to you, with still looking wary. If as much as its not face is capable of looking wary, you can just tell by its body language that it's keeping you at a distance. And it sprays out a gout of a yellowish gas, and you suddenly can know what it's feeling. It seems to communicate via smell. And
Is this rapport spores?
it's
Wait, what?
It's rapport spores. No.
Okay.
Not quite. It's sort of is able to convey emotions and general ideas, but not speech.
Okay.
But it sprays spores out in your direction, and you can just get the sense of danger. Leave this place.
You know, when I first heard that he was shooting spores or whatever, I assumed it was an attack. But now that I know it's not, I'm willing to say he seems like a fun guy.
Oh my god.
Oh, great.
The Titan stands up and steps on you. But yes, this thing is telling you to leave immediately, basically. Like, it does not trust you.
I will respond with, we are leaving. I just want to be sure that none of you are mortally injured and need healing. If you are fine, we will leave right now.
It sort of inhales, like it reinflates itself a little bit and seems to grow a few inches, and then releases the gas once again, the yellowish gas, and anyone close enough sort of gets the idea of,
Leave.
we tend to our own. Please leave.
Okay. Toodaloo. Have a good one. Bye.
I will respond in kind as I'm walking away.
No.
Oh God. Okay, I was like, how are you respond? Okay. I
You know.
understand
They want us to leave. They'll take care of themselves, but they won't attack us. So let's
Yes,
go.
Alright.
as you are going, like as you walk by, like every single plant that you get near, like sort of rears up and like points its tendrils or thorns or spines at you. Like they are very wary of your presence, but they do not seem to want a fight.
We're definitely gonna want to go back to those obelisks too, because I know you said something about wanting to have Kai look at them.
Make your way back through the forest, heading towards those obelisks that you encountered the last time you passed through here, and you see those people. Two of them seem to be studying or examining the obelisks, and as you step out into the circular clearing where these obelisks are standing, immediately as soon as you are visible, they all go on alert. The large one with the full armor, it looks even more menacing now that you are significantly closer. It is huge, like perhaps a Goliath or half-orc, like I said earlier, and is immediately draws its blade and points it in your direction in a battle-ready stance. A woman, maybe elven or half-elven, immediately seems to be readying a spell, just like you can see like snow falling out of her hands, but she has not yet released it. She seems to have it ready. The halfling dives back behind one of the obelisks and points a crossbow at you, and standing sort of in front of all of them is a figure who looks sort of unassuming compared to the rest of them, just wearing sort of gray robes. A human with a long white beard steps forward and says, "Now who the fuck are you?"
I was about to ask you the same question. Oh, I'm Rissa. Nice to meet you.
The halfling begins to like sort of step forward and like, "Oh hey there, my name is," and then the one standing in the front says, "No names." "What the fuck are you doing?" And they just the whole group is sort of like standing in front of you, looking like ready to kill the shit out of you at a moment's notice. But the one standing in front seems to be just curious and a little and more wary rather than ready to attack.
Are you from Clearlight?
Of course, I'm from Clearlight. We're all from Clearlight, or at least anyone alive, anyway.
Well, then you would have heard the news about the group of people going out into the mist.
Ah,
We are said group of people.
interesting.
As are they, it seems.
Well, they were a little bit more sneaky about it, evidently, and it didn't have a fanfare put on for some fucking reason.
The wizard woman says, "Do we just want to take them out? Keep the secret? Make sure that nobody's asking any questions?" And the robed figure.
Shut up.
The robed figure says, "No, I don't think that's going to be necessary. At least not yet. You?" He points at you, Frissa, because you seem to be the one talking to him. "Didn't see us out here. You understand?"
I saw nothing. We saw lots of monsters, some bone skeleton lady, giant titan. That's all we saw.
"That is what I like to hear, and likewise, we didn't see any of you."
Well, that would make sense because then we didn't see each other. That's how it works. But if I ever do see you in Clearlight, though, I would love to have a conversation.
Well, you do seem like a rather personable lady to speak to, but unfortunately I don't think there's anything for us to be talking about. If you'll excuse us, we do have to be on our way. And the wizard's like, "But I wasn't finished." He's like, No. It's time for us to be on our way. And so the group sort of wanders backward, heading away from you, keeping their eyes on you, but heading away. And as they are about to leave,
Whenever they look back, I wave.
yes, as they are about to leave the clearing, the robed person turns back around and just gives you a sort of wave and says, don't fucking follow us. And that's where we're going to end our session today.
Hey, there you go.
I'll follow them.
I kind of do too, honestly.
Murder the shit out of them.
It's weird.
I want to know what they're doing. I don't want to murder them. Maybe they could join our team and we can be a big happy family of mercenaries.
I will say that now that Ryan has added an additional member to our party, we need fan art of Kai to add to the thumbnail.
Go for
Preferably
it.
on your necklace.
Yes, preferably on my necklace.
I sort of have like an idea of what Kai looks like. Sort of like white metal with like gold fancy inlays, blue eye.
And they have to have the blushing little lines.
Yep. That is now a permanent feature.
Just a little speech bubble that says Baka.
Always.
Oh.
I love it.
All right, so everybody, tune into our Patreon. We've all got Twitters that are worth following, I'm pretty sure.
No, not at all.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to act like this is a real podcast.
Ouch.
You can follow. I have a disclaimer at the an outro at the end, so it's fine.
That's what we need, a disclaimer.
I've-
After the
Disclaimer
episode,
slash
though.
Yes.
The most important disclaimer is based on a true story.
Thank you so much for checking out Behold Clearlight, our Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition actual play game. This world is brought to you by Ryan and played by a group of friends who are just looking to have fun and share our love for the tabletop world. Every other Thursday, we will release a new episode of Behold Clearlight. On the off weeks, Greg and I join other members of the TTRPG community and play non-D&D games. You can also check out Greg and I having random discussions on topics in the TTRPG and D&D world with guests on Mondays. If you enjoyed this, please don't hesitate to reach out on Twitter or on Facebook at Beholder to No One. Also, give us a review on iTunes or follow us on Podbean, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Keep being awesome. We'll see you next time. Bye.